Hello, Kumar. So yesterday, I released a letter to the community just to explain what we are doing. So did you guys had a time to go through it? So I know it's a quite a long letter, but because it's important because uh, it's a lot of things which community need to know. So hello, Bitcoin Pekin. So is there anyone who had a chance to read the letter which I wrote yesterday to the community? Hi, Irina. So it's here for welcome. So can we know from where we have people joining? So just we know. So we already have more than 50 people. So okay, okay. Thanks, Dom. It's nice that people are reading because one of the things which I have noticed that not a lot of people like to read. No worries. We're gonna talk today, and the whole purpose of this AMA session is to take all the questions which you have, and we're gonna I'm trying to answer. So we have people from Germany, okay, Australia. Oh, thanks for joining, Chris. I know it's in Australia. It's too late. We have a very people from New York, very early morning. Australia, Brazil, from UK. Okay, so I think we have waited a while. What's the time now? Okay, we are over by 5 minutes. So India. Okay. So yeah, it's important that we must have a support from a global community because what we are trying to do is not specific to a country. Yes, definitely we have to start somewhere, and that start is definitely need to be very strong and very powerful, and that's why we had chosen London or England because the central bank in England is quite a powerful institution, and if you are working with a Bank of England and institutions like that, definitely it able to bring a lot of trust into the people. So we have Frank. Yeah, so we have people from Africa. Definitely, we're gonna once at once we have a ideal model which we want to build is already built. Definitely, it's a matter of time to replicate that same institutions with same principle in different part of the world. So we have a Latin crypto. I don't know what's the problem here, but definitely I'm going to take the questions. It could be related with support. It could be it's good to talk to also to the customers and see exactly what's. I think it's YouTube does not allow people to speak. So okay, Latin. Okay, so Latin, if you have any trouble, I think it's not nice to spam here. If you can raise a support ticket, that would be more helpful, also for you and the people who are here. Okay, so without further delay, I think now a lot of people are very curious about the FCA status, what's happening, and at what kind of position we are. So let's talk today. In today's topic, we're going to talk mainly about three things. One is the FCA authorization and where we stand. Do we stand a chance or not? We didn't stand a chance. We want to know the status. Then we're going to talk about the team, how we are planning to expand, what kind of expansion plans we have, what kind of people who are coming in, what kind of resources we're going to need in next 2 to 3 months, because next 2 to 3 months is going to be very critical for Cashaa. So, okay, we have over 60 people now. So it's and the last and most important pressing issue that we back last month in India, one of our partners which manages the Indian OTC desk, they had a trouble, and one of their employees, or let's say Cashaa India employees, have broken some policy. Because of that, Cashaa suffered a severe loss. So still that's there is quite unknown that who is going to take that loss, how are we going to overcome that kind of loss, and what's our plan, does it's going to affect us, and all these things. So we're going to talk about all of these issues. And so let's, without any delay, let's start with FCA authorization. So with FCA, we had, or any regulator in the world, when we started talking about, we realized that it necessarily the central banks and the regulators, they are not against the crypto. Yes, banks, we don't like them. Definitely, because they want to the it's a very common that for breaking money laundering laws or terrorist funding laws or kind of corruption where they have paid enormous amount of fine for that. Now, if they have paid that kind of enormous fine, the obviously it's clear that only being a crypto is not something which is but obviously it worries a regulator, and regulator want to understand, be it Cashaa or be it any challenger bank, that how we gonna make we're not gonna bring more chaos if we start banking crypto companies or companies who are dealing in cryptocurrency. And that was a question was asked in every time we face the regulator, what's the data we have. And because of that, what we did, we found alternate path where we said, okay, we don't have data. Definitely we are a young company, and the kind of data you are asking, that to prove that how if we have 25 companies purely dealing in crypto doing thousands of transactions, how we going to monitor and how those transactions will look like, because no institution have that kind of numbers, be it Barclays or HSBC. And during the same time when we were trying to develop, we have seen so many problems. The month we started, the Barclays suddenly shut down Coinbase account, created chaos in banking. The people who were trying to open up suddenly closed because the Barclays took a major decision to close Coinbase account, which is one of the highly regulated company, have many licenses, very, very well established company. And if companies like Coinbase does not have a chance, and they have been easily shut down or opened, or they have to dance on the banks, how we see that the smaller crypto companies stand any chance. Then we had in UK trouble where many challenger banks were getting fined because they were not able to follow the regulatory policy. And in between all of this, we were trying to push a new kind of banking system where we want to have Bitcoin adoption right into the banking system. Definitely these things were making us more and more difficult to have a standard chance for us. And then finally we found that, okay, how about if we convince some of the banks and we work together and we apply our policies, we apply our systems, and then we see that what kind of transactions are coming. And because of this, we have seen so many different companies who applied. Today we have more than hundreds of companies, some of very big names in the industry, they are banking with us. And we have seen transactions coming from exchanges, transactions coming from wallets, lending companies, DeFi applications, and all of this. Now, having all this data, what this mean? This data is something which cannot be generated or just replicated. This data need to be earned over the time by banking actual companies and then seeing what kind of transactions are happening. And that's how we have collected so much data. And then when this time we went back, I think 45 days ago with the findings which we had, we got a very positive response. And I'm very, very hopeful. Still, we have not received the report, but definitely I'm receiving a lot of good emails from regulators. And these good emails are very clear that we are very close to get the authorizations which we are looking. So still we don't, because we don't have the letter. As soon as the authorization will be there, you can go on a FCA website, like an article. I put some links of some of our partners. You can go on the website and you can see. So still we don't have that, but I'm very optimistic that in month of August, I feel that we will be there. There is no reason that we're not going to get our approvals done. So that's something on FCA authorities and authorization process. Also, one good thing is that we have applied for a kind of banking system where we want to bank cryptocurrencies and GBP and national currency side by side. We don't want any compromise. We want to have an account where the everyday banking works same as they work same as how the Bitcoin or these things happen. So all our features which we have mentioned, it looks like we are getting approved, all of them. So there is no compromise on our the system which we want to build. We are going ahead with full authorizations without any changes in the system, because looks like all the auditors, they are very happy with the data which they are seeing, that the kind of transactions we have done. And more or less, it seems we are not only touching these hundreds of crypto company, we are touching through our systems which we are trying to build in between. The whole financial system is touching more than 250,000 people. And that's the beauty when we start with B2B, because onboarding one company, one good company, gives us access with hundreds and thousands of people. So all these people, who are into crypto indirectly or directly, they are part of the Cashaa system. They are using our infrastructure directly or indirectly. So there is it's a good news, and because of this, we have so many positive signs coming. In fact, I had a call this morning also, and everything. They had some questions, and we were just going through all of these questions. And these questions are now more on talking about a feature side, talking what else we can do with the system, instead of why Cashaa should get an authorization. So the language and the kind of just give me one. The kind of language and the kind of questions which are now coming from auditors have been changed completely. The outlook have changed completely. So that's also kind of very, very positive sign that we're going to have our authorization, and I don't feel that it's going to take more than a month now, or like it's going to extend to September. Now, because of this, what's next? We have to now start having all the people in place, people for marketing. We have already released the offer letter for the marketing team, so that we can start building that. Because still, it looks like that when we have authorization done, it's gonna 4 to 5 weeks job. By the time the ISO certification companies and technical auditors gonna go through the code, and they're gonna review the entire banking system code which we have written before people can move into it. So that's the beauty of auditor system. It have the checks and auditors at different level, and it's all good. So if we are hopeful on the timeline that when we can have our own systems in place, expecting that if we have authorization done in August, we could be live by mid of September. It's definitely for businesses, and then in 4 to 5 weeks we will open our banking system for every individual whom we can bank. So that's kind of roadmap we are looking. Our cards will go into the production, let's say by early October. So people who are banking, they will have our cards and everything issued to them in say mid of October or by end of October. So that's obviously I'm going to take all the questions in the end. So and that's why we have this 2 months of now time to build up our team, to set up. We have a lot of job to do. We have to set up the whole center for the support. Relationship managers hiring is happening. We have already hired more than 6 relationship managers who are going under the training, so that they could be ready since let's say by mid of September, so that we can start onboarding as many as crypto companies around the world. So the team on marketing, team on support, team on relationship managers, team for compliance. Yes, today now, so one good news today, our head of compliance have been joined. We're going to release his name and details and bio, and he have a huge experience working with unicorns in UK. So we decided that because we are on a path to become one of the unicorn, it makes sense that we do all the hirings for the unicorns which are there. So so we have hired our chief compliance officers. We have hired from a company. We're going to release his profile for a company called Remit. So he joined Remit when Remit was 10 people company, and today Remit is $1 billion company, moving maybe billions of dollars every day. So that kind of expertise, what we need now at this stage when we will have our own systems in place, and obviously he would be a good person to decide to build more and more compliance team within him. Obviously, most of our compliance team will be based in UK, but definitely we will also have people who are around the some other markets. where the salaries are not that high. For example, we are looking a lot of banks and financial institutions. They have their the compliance center in Mumbai or in Ahmedabad, in Romania, in Poland. So obviously, most of our also the compliance analyst and the compliance managers will be sitting in these. So not a lot of hiring we're going to do in UK or US, but these countries. But obviously, we will have some people to one or two people in each market, so that we also have someone to represent to the regulators if they need to talk to. So that's more on a team side. So now quickly, we talk one of the very pressing issue. It was a very worrying issue that in India, one of our relationship manager who was handling a lot of high net individual clients, he broke some policies, and the local Cashaa India authorized him to transact by him own. And when he set up some wallets in some website, what happened is that he got compromised. His own system got compromised, and he lost quite. So definitely, it's a loss. I will not say that it's a good thing. It's something which is very, very terrible. But as Cashaa, what I have seen is since the day we started, we know that we're gonna going into challenges. Obviously, I have not expected challenge like this coming. So one thing which I like to assure that does not matter if the loss was done by one of the partners in Cashaa India, or it could be done directly by Cashaa or anywhere. No user will ever lose their fund. So we have not stopped any withdrawals. Anyone who wants to do the withdrawal, they can do the withdrawal. Definitely, the question is that how we're going to overcome the loss. And because we are talking about a significant amount. And what I have done personally, once I received this news, and one thing which was that we reached out to all the users who got affected, and we told them, okay, your relationship manager have got compromised, and these are the problems. There were he was managing roughly 80 high net individuals in India. So obviously these are the people who got directly impacted. We told them that no, obviously you have to bear with us for, let's say, for 4 or 5 days, and then also we started withdrawal for them. And we requested them to not withdraw or go into any panic, because definitely it's a problem and we need some time to solve this. And what we have done, that we reached out to various VCs and institutional funds around the globe, and we have received a tremendous amount of response in investment in Cashaa. And one of the things, obviously, we are not looking for the investment in Cashaa right now to just grow, but obviously this situation came and we said, okay, this is something need to be prioritized. So we opened a small $5 million round so that we can cover this loss immediately. And we have received a lot of response, and we are finalizing them. And I think in next 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 days, we will have all the formality done, and maybe in next 2 weeks, we will have the investment done into a company, so that this loss which we had does not impact the company, does not impact any of our plan, and does not impact any of our user fund. All the users, they must need to feel safe, and that's what's the principle behind what we are building. That if we are building something, it needs to be safe. If there is some kind of mistake, it needs to be rectified as quickly as possible. We are learning, I accept, and mistakes can happen, but we need to see that if there is some mistakes are happening, how we're going to overcome and keep standing in the market to build what we are supposed to build. So that's again, on this note, I finish my talk and I will start taking questions. But again, does not matter what kind of loss Cashaa suffers and how it is suffering. No users or no business ever gonna lose any fund. Every fund which is with Cashaa, it's crypto or it's fiat, whatever, it's 100% safe and protected. So that's so now we take some questions. I see someone is very much worried about, and looks like a support question. So you need to reach out, Latin, to the support to know. I cannot just answer. I do see it's like you were talking about 100K. So it seems like you are some kind of business customer, and 100K we take during the enhanced due diligence process. So if my understanding is right, you can say yes or no. Is it right? Okay, now suddenly seems I saw that you were very impatient, so I'm asking questions so I can help you. And if you will not cooperate, I don't know how to help you then. If you answer, if can you please tell me that what kind of user you are? You are a business user. What's the problem there? So why not you do Latin? You can write me directly at kumar@cashaa.com, and I can take your problem, and we can no, and I'll try to resolve and see what's the actual problem. But showing this impatience behavior is not going to help. And please, it says 100,000 token access deposit. So definitely, it's I don't see any problem there. So okay, so let's move on to the other question. When we will the personal UK current accounts? I'm staking 100K on the wait list. So if you are staking 100K and you are on the wait list, obviously you're gonna get, as I gave a roadmap, expecting that if we gonna get the authorization in this month, obviously our first job is to move all these hundreds of companies who are right now sitting with of our partner, to move them within our Cashaa system so that they can start using Cashaa token. They can start doing these transactions on our platform instead of some other platform. And then in 4 to 6 weeks, we will start distributing the accounts to the user who have done the staking and the order they have done the staking. So just give you a deadline. I'm not saying it's like a rigid deadline, but it looks like in October, like by October, you will have the personal account issued. Where we can use cash and future utility. So Shakti, where we can use cash, I think yesterday I released. So cash is a utility token for Cashaa banking system. So you can use cash token in either with all the different kind of transactions. So we are going live with banking systems in UK, Europe, and United States. So either it's a faster payments, SEPA, SWIFT, ACH, Wire. You can use basically cash token in all these transactions. Then to get the discounts, then you can also use cash token like another utility tokens, like any token or any exchange token, where you can use the token during when you are doing an exchange to crypto, and not only exchange to crypto, because it's in Cashaa. It's not like you only have a crypto to crypto exchange or fiat to crypto exchange. You can also do exchange between British pound to INR, Canadian dollar to US dollar, any kind of forex system, because we are talking about building a banking system, not a crypto exchange. So and you can just use the tokens to get these services and the discounts on every banking system or every banking services which we have. Then let's what we have another question. So let me go back. It's growing very fast. Okay, so Gogo Panga is asking, currently there is so much negativity in online social media or any television media. Our world has become more intolerant these days. Yeah, it's a comment, Gogo Panga, but it's a see. There will be always, as long as the humanity will be there will be negativity and there will be positivity. So it's our choice what we want to live with. The life is very beautiful. We can choose it to go with the negativity and we can live with negativity, or we can choose to be positive and the universe. I had my own personal experience where when the way universe gives you what we think. So if we are like, we have gone through it, if we talk about only in Cashaa, we have gone through so many different problems. The problem of when we say that we want to build a banking system, everyone laughed at us, like ha ha ha, like like the big banks are not giving bank account to crypto companies. What makes you think that you can do it? That's ridiculous. You're gonna bring all the money launderers to use the banking system. That's not gonna happen. What data you have? But see, in 2 years, finally we are here. We are talking about now creating a new kind of banking system where when you one day you just have your bank and you just walk in and you say, this is some Bitcoins and I want to keep it here. And it will be seen perfectly normal, and it will be not seen normal if a bank is not having no services related with crypto. That would be abnormal. So, and we are going towards that future. And the good thing is that at Cashaa, we took a very tough challenge, and that challenge finally started giving positive results. So it's the positive which our team always kept. We never gave up. We were always have this, that okay, I think this is, and like we should not be we are, what's going to be next? But we were like, no, this is a future and we believe in this and we have to keep fighting for it. It could take 3 years, it could take 5 years. I personally thought that it's going to take at least 3 years. So I feel today, the call which I had with our auditors and lawyers and regulator, it was like, wow. So it's like we are a year ahead. So it's not that bad. Now, obviously, we have to do the second part. We have already done the tough part of this, and now we have to do the community part. We have to do the tokens. We have to see that now how the market making. A lot of people were always talking about market making and everything, and having more and more exchanges. I think now it's the time that once we have settled this part, to start working on this, so that at the same time we have the utility growing and the systems are growing, and also the more and more the volumes are coming into the tokens. We need to have more and more exchanges, so that more and more people can easily get the access to this. So all of these things now need to be done. So we have a question that why isn't Cashaa coin price going up? I think the price is up. Yesterday I saw, and it was up already more than 50 to 100%. So that's obviously I will not comment. It will take its own time and it will go. Yes, I can speak Hindi. If you ask your question in Hindi, I will reply in Hindi. So next, any other question? Okay, so we have a question from Paul. Cashaa has now had 2 serious hacks in 2 years. How can you guarantee customers? What happened? Sunny. Oh, it was here. So Paul have a very good question. I think we need to take this. Serious hacks in 2 years, how can you guarantee customer funds are 100% safe in the future? So Paul, I'm not aware of the first hack. So why there is 2? So I think either I'm missing something or something happened behind my back in Cashaa, which I'm not aware. So there is only one which I'm aware, which happened just now. And if you see, the hack was not into the Cashaa systems. The hack was with an individual relationship manager managing his own personal client in India, because India is a little different market. People have a different way to deal. And this individual person got compromised. Not in Cashaa UK, in Cashaa India, dealing with very of his personal client, where a lot of his clients are even not aware how to deal with crypto and stuff like that. Definitely, this happened within the Cashaa brand, and we want to take it as a very serious issue. But this have nothing to do with the Cashaa systems and which we have in place. Definitely, what we have to do, that we have to take the learnings from this, and at no point we have to make sure that especially countries like India. So what we are going, so India problem was very typical and very related with India. So one of the things which we are seeing in India, that now because we are going into full banking, we will stop. We're going to sell this OTC division which we have in India, because that's something is a time consuming, and as a bank, and as we also started talking with RBI and central, which is the central bank in India, I think we're going to stop these OTC operations, because we started it when the banking was banned, and it was very difficult for Indians to get into crypto. So I think our purpose is done. We are not an exchange. We are not a wallet, which we're gonna involve into this thing. So yeah, because this India issue, if we see that what kind of controls we will have and how we're gonna do this, and if we see that there is no other way how the business is done in India with this big HNIs, and it need to be very customized and very personal base where people need control, and it cannot be done with this. In that case, we might decide to switch off this division, because yeah, definitely you are right. We don't want to risk a company. We don't want to risk our customer funds for a very specific set of function, which is not even very primary for Cashaa. So Latin crypto market, I think it's what I would say. If you have any serious issue, please talk to your relationship manager. If your issue is not resolved, try to reach out to me at kumar@cashaa.com. If you feel that you have been cheated and there is some problem, there is a lot of law enforcement and legal and regulators around the world. Please go to them and come back to us. Thank you. And I'm not interested in having the spam messages in here where we are trying to do a discussion. So what I would say, if you think that the Cashaa can solve your problem, get it resolved. If team is not helping, reach out to me. If you think I'm not helping, go to authorities. I think I'm clear. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on with. Okay, let me see. Yeah, no, I don't believe in blocking people or. Okay, so let's going on with the AMA. Let's take the question. What do you see the biggest single challenge for Cashaa in achieving what? The biggest single challenge was that definitely the regulation and proving the regulator that by bringing more and more banking and crypto together, we're not going to create a chaos in the a kind of disruption in the financial system in a negative way. And every regulator we talked, they all want innovation, they want adoption, they want future technology, but they don't want to bring any kind of failure or any kind of any systematic disaster into the system. So convincing them, showing them enough data, showing these transactional information was, and collecting these information and talking to our customers and convincing companies like Nexo, companies like many different big brands, and telling them that we kind of building our system, we are still not there, and but we still want you to bank. Definitely we're going to do all the paperwork, we don't go do all the onboarding, but for meanwhile you have to use this system which is going to run. So convincing also our initial days in our in a very initial days in August, September, October, when we didn't had much brands, and people were always like, oh, even if it's real, we don't see any license or anything. So convincing regulator was one of the toughest job, but then also convincing this first 10 companies that no, you are a good hand and we're gonna deliver what we want to deliver, and obviously we need your support because we want to have your transactions. So it's kind of chicken and egg problem, and we were trying to go in circles. The customer will, the businesses will say, you don't have a license, sorry, we cannot trust you. The regulator will say, you don't have a customer, you don't have a transaction data. How you are make sure that you're gonna, when they're gonna start the transaction, it's not gonna be a mess. So solving this chicken and egg problem was the toughest job which we had, and I'm glad that that problem is solved, and we have received a lot of appreciation from the regulators about this. So yeah, I think it's congrats to my entire team, congrats to community which still kept hope, and and we stayed in this together, and with all the ups and downs. So what other question? And now more investment coming in. So I will not say that this hack which happened in India was good or bad, but this hack pushed us to go to the people and to VCs and different investors and talk to them about their interest. And then when they looked into the company, they looked into the roadmap, we were just surprised with the response which they had. And we did not we also had the same concern which Paul had, like what if we're going to tell them that we had this severe problem, and first money which you're going to put into the company is actually going to the users who had their bitcoins. How they're going to react on this? And still we have seen good response. We said, okay, I think if we raise, let's say, initial 5 million, no, and we were like, okay, it's done. And it was like, we said, okay, this proved us that there is enough money in the world if we are dedicated to what we want to do, and if we are keep building selflessly what we want to build. So and having these big VCs, big private funds coming into the system just shows that there is a lot of interest into Cashaa when we are going and talking to regulators and talking to different companies or our customers. So they haven't. Yes, definitely. What I will say, Jitendra, that we are trying to make everything possible. Obviously, there is a time, and me and my team, we are a very small team, and we are trying to do with very, very limited budget what we have. We are not sitting on a pile of cash, and we didn't even wanted this cash before a lot, because the more cash and more investors in coming into the company means that you have more different opinions, more different pressure, and different agenda. And I didn't wanted anything to disrupt until we have the clarity that yes, we are building what we are building, and there is no challenge left in that. So now, because we are there, definitely we will work on all of these things. So we have another question from Nick. Hi, congratulations. And the second hack someone referred to was not to cash. Okay, so I think you are, so Nick is, okay, I understood. Yeah, so there was a question where someone says two hacked. Okay, so the first hack, Paul, which was there, it was not with Cashaa. It's one of the investors, or let's say a token holders like you. No, they have lost their tokens, and they reached out to us very early stage when actually the tokens were not moved. And what we did is that we took that problem of our holder as a Cashaa problem, because the whole purpose of having a token is to build a community. And if anyone is, and if, let's say, if something is going bad and if it's in Cashaa power, obviously it created a lot of work for us. But because if we can solve this, I think we took this problem as our problem, and we tried to rectify through our systems. And that's why maybe some people are confused with it's our hack, but it was not our hack. It's some people individual MetaMask, if I remember, not MetaMask, I think my Ether wallet, which was compromised. So we have so Cashaa in 5 year. That's what I ideally see. Cashaa in 5 year is a better HSBC, a better Citi, or a better Barclays. So Kumar, what are your plans for Africa and Uganda? So Bitcoin Pekin, I at this stage, I really don't have any clarity on the African market. Definitely, we want to go into the African market, and we want to see, but we are trying to solve a very complex problem, and it requires very, very tight collaboration with the regulator and every government we work. And so I think it's going to take some time. I don't have the roadmap, otherwise I would have given you. I really feel bad that I have nothing, but definitely soon. Give us time. We're going to expand. I think after UK, Europe, and US, the India is on our roadmap, and the next our launch will be in India. We are still in discussion with RBI to see that what kind of regulation, compliance, and what kind of answers they have, because the problem with the Indian market or the Indian regulators, they are not as mature as as some of their peers in UK, Europe, or US. So they still the questions are at very early stage. So we don't have a deadline, but I think in 2021 we will be also in India, if not everything goes as planned. Sorry, I have just joined. What's plan B? So, Shrikant, the thing is that we don't have a plan B, and I don't think that we need a plan B. We are very dedicated on what we are doing, and it's better to not have a plan B, because then you have no other choice than making a plan A successful. So could you elaborate? So we have a next question. Could you elaborate how will you deal with capital requirements for the bank? That's a requirement. There is nothing to be not dealt with this. This is something which we are doing, and we will do it. It will require more and more money to bring in, as I just indicated, that there is enough interest in the market to get this money into the company. Obviously, that will bring more and more people on the board, and more different ideas and opinion. And I know, obviously, I'm a little bit spectacle and like reserved when I have to do that. The reason is being because I don't want any investors to come into equity position, or in any kind of controlling situation where we start distracting from our own path. And that's one of the reason that we don't want to have these what's plan B, also let's do this for profits and everything, because once we have our the roadmap very clear, the DNA of what we want to build into the company, then if more people comes in, they have to adopt and adjust. But Cashaa at this stage is at a very young stage. If there is someone in power who comes and like to start changing their things for their own profitability, that could end up not creating a better HSBC, but could be creating another HSBC. And I don't want Cashaa to be another HSBC. I want Cashaa to be a better HSBC, right? And we all want that. So we have another question. Guys, slowly, so I can read. Definitely, I cannot name any exchange or something, but the team will now start working in on the exchange. And as I indicated, that crypto management and token management is a primary function, and it will be now done with Cashaa. I have said this in various occasions, that currently we cannot do anything with the token. It could be the market making, it could be many different pushing. The reason is because we have a limited team, and the focus is 100% to get the regulators and things done. To not have a speculative coin, but a coin with a very solid utility. Now, because we have achieved that first plan, or let's say in this month we're very sure that we have done this. From September onward, we will have all these functions. And it could be not only exchanges, obviously we would need market makers, we would need all kind of different management and tokens, and that will be there. Because we like it or not, we are into the game, there is a token, and it needs to be managed. So Rahul, obviously the marketing, like any other big company, that will go in stages. As I said that, because being a regulated entity and a very heavy regulated entity, everything requires approval here. So yes, we will be like a little bit slow with other crypto compared to other crypto companies, but also we have to see different angles of profitability and cash burn and everything. But I think when you talk about marketing, this is something which will come naturally. As we start shipping products to different users will start using it, more and more influencers, more ads. I think everything will come with its organic space. On a timeline, I would say definitely once we have our own systems in place. So let's say October would be a good time to go into that kind of marketing, which you are seeing Cashaa everywhere. So I think from October onwards is kind of more better time, so that when you are spending all this marketing money and you are getting all this eyeball, you are converting them into the customer which are using your product. So you generate marketing is not only for buzz, but marketing is to make users aware of our products, services, and offerings so that they can come and they can use it to generate revenue. Marketing should not be a loss-making unit. It needs to be a profit-making unit. That's how I feel. Obviously, many people can have different plans and different things. Okay, has COVID affected? Yes, COVID had affected a little bit because we had some delays on the regulator side. People were not able to work. Generally, how the audit happens, that you have to be present everyone physically, and they want to go through your systems. They check your office. They check access controls, entry controls, all of these. So yes, it does took time to do everything online because nobody have done this like before. Also on the regulator side, so they have to figure it out. Everything went a little slow. I will not say slow, but they were like careful, because we are talking about something very huge, very serious. So yeah, I would say COVID have affected from that angle. That I would say that maybe all this regulatory thing could have done even a month earlier. So this 4-week or 6-week delay which we have, I would not say it's 100% because of the COVID, but yes, it made it a little bit more slow, the entire process. But there is no effect on the business. On the business side, we started doing it more better because everything I had a funny story. A lot of customers started coming to us, and because there are a lot of small banks, they are not able to sustain after the COVID. So they started shutting down their business in Switzerland and Liechtenstein. So the smaller banks in Liechtenstein and Switzerland who have physical centers to maintain, their profitability is gone and everything. So these banks have started closing. So definitely the new bank and the banks where the cryptos and everything is a banking platform where everything is accepted, start giving more and more awareness. So we have seen even more clients. Just on the operations part, one of the very important finding which we had when we started onboarding customers, if we were accepting 100 applications, in an initial day, we only able to onboard 14 of them. Our onboarding rate was 14%. But in the last 2.5 months, or let's say a quarter, our onboarding rate, and thanks to obviously more and more transaction monitoring and the understanding we are getting of the system, our onboarding rate have grown up to roughly 83% and a little above 83%. So that's something which directly impact our revenue, because the more and more customers are getting onboarded, obviously the more revenue we are talking, the more cash utility we are talking, the more users we are talking, and that's all positive. So we have a question from Edward. Can I accept company? Sorry, this is moving. Can I accept GBP payments in my Cashaa bank account from Bitcoin I have sold in person? So the problem, Edward, is that we do not have a cash handling capability, at least in 2020, or maybe also in 2021. This is something which we have also not asked with the regulator, that we want a cash handling capacity, because and this is something which is dying. The cash usage is slowly going down. So yeah, if you are selling Bitcoin and receiving that money directly from this buyer account to Cashaa account, yes, that is possible. We don't have in a roadmap, at least for 2020, where we will have a physical branches where you can go and deposit the cash. This is for UK, Europe, and US. In India, if we start, yes, you will have branches from even in maybe in early days, because that's a complete different economy, and we need to have physical centers where people can go, and even physical centers where people can just go and talk. So yeah, based on that market, we will have in India, but not in Europe, UK, and US. So the next question, do you have a plan to become a public company and get listed? So SV, this is something which is a progress. It may possible this can happen. I'm not denying the fact. At which stage this will happen, that's something which we have to see. Going public is not always a good thing. Neither it's a bad thing. But let's see, we still have not started our journey. I'll say that. So let's see what kind of things it brings, and we decide to maybe one day go get listed in Nasdaq or in a stock exchange. But yes, I'm not denying the possibility of not having it. This is something to get listed. What a company need is a solid roadmap and a profitable business model, and we both have that. So since March 2020, so roughly 3 months, Cashaa has been fully profitable company, and we are running our expenses on the profits which we are making, not on investors' money or not on a token by selling tokens or anything. So, so that's something which is a main criteria when you talk about listing to have a company profitable, and that's something which we have. So yeah, why not in next 5 years? So if you wish to bank in UK with Cashaa, okay. So let's take another question. Will Cashaa go public in India or in UK? If it will happen, Cashaa will go public in. We don't know. See, listing is something could be done anywhere. Definitely, not India. Indian market is kind of, I would say, is not. So definitely, it would be either US or UK. Could be Singapore also. So next question we have. Okay, so we don't have a questions. It's all comments. So good. Do you have a plan to move in investment banking? Yes. Currently, we don't have, but obviously, as we will grow, the deposits will grow. Maybe these some functions will come into the system by its own. Obviously, again, we are at a very young stage, at a very nascent stage. First, we want to start the current accounts and solve the one big problem which crypto industry have, is that being judged because of the industry we are, especially because this bank cartels which we got. So I think the first step is to break that and have our own systems in place where we're going to talk directly with regulator. We don't want a bank to talk in our behalf. We're going to do it by ourselves. Any news on the US market? Yes, in the US market, a lot of news is going to come. We already have closed a partnership with a banking group in based out of Colorado. And so we're going to soon have the reserve account, everything with the Federal Reserve Bank of Con City. So in US, we have multiple Federal Reserve banks, 11 of them, if I'm not wrong. So we have to work under one of them. And I think we already started engagement working with an institution related with the Federal Reserve in Con City. So we have an immediate plan to capture India remittance market? All these are very detailed questions, so I think that's we have to give time. India remittance is again is a function which is there in Cashaa, but this is not definitely is like the only function which we have. So we have to see what are the functions which are more profitable and work on them, which are the functions where we have more utility for cash token, and then based on that we will choose the priorities of each feature and how to push those features. The same question for Jitendra. Obviously, all of these will come slowly over the time. We have next question. What point do you think Cashaa need to reach to not to need a bank to speak on behalf? It's a profit goal or it's a notary. I think Crafty, that thing will happen in next 2 months. We are very close to that. Once we will have our authorization and systems in place, we will be having all the direct connections. So yeah, that's we are very very near to that. So good. I think I didn't realize that I already had 1 hour. So it's the time always fly when you have so many questions coming and everything. I hope that I able to answer all the questions which people had. Even in case you feel that something is not answered, I'm very available. You know how to find me. My website is public. All the way to reach to me is available. Anyone can reach me anytime. So I'm not something which is very difficult to be reached. I love to hear from you. I want to be connected as much as possible. I want to hear directly from our customers, because end of the day, we are building for them. We are building it for businesses, and we want to see what's working, what's not working. So that's all very important to me. So don't feel to not to write me if something is bothering, if relationship managers are not working properly. If you have any complaint, you have my contact. Please come to me. Help. It's we are trying to create a community here, and in a community is about helping each other and growing together. So thank you so much.